So thank you.
Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast. We have with us a very special guest today. Her name is Charlene Carbral. She's an intuitive massage therapist, and she helps people release the pains of their past. I am so excited to talk with you, Charlene, because I got lots of questions for you.
Bring them on. I love it. Thank you so much for having me here today, Jill.
Normally, I would ask you about, your story of how you got here, but let's just jump into like the turkey gobbler thing that we were talking about beforehand, so we
Okay.
don't forget it. But we may circle back.
That's all
But
right.
maybe you should tell people what you do first,
All right.
and then we'll
Well,
talk about that.
and actually that might be a good thing to start with because I'm sure many of us feel fragmented or scrambled or lost or like just confused. And I say that because I've been in the insurance business, still am, for over 38 years. And I started years ago taking all of these classes, like holistic classes, Reiki. I say that because everybody knows Reiki. There's so many other things I've done, but Reiki, you know, emotional freedom technique, learning about, which is the tapping, doing all different kinds of classes, the crystal bowls, energy school. And I thought, why am I doing this? I'm an insurance professional, right? Like that rigid profile I had of myself. And I'm like, I just feel fragmented. I always tell people now, just go with it because you never know why you're being called to do what you're doing. And the reason you are is because there's a purpose. And that purpose might not show up until years later. And that's exactly what happened to me once I lost a job I was at, found out I had stage 4 breast cancer. My husband of 23 years decided to give me the best gift ever, the gift of divorce. And I went to massage school at night. My family helped me take care of the 3 kids and became a licensed massage therapist because I love energy work. I did all of their holistic program as well, learned everything they had to offer. And then I started massaging. And it wasn't until I was working on this one individual and it all came together. And I do that because throughout life we're fragmented, right? And that's what we're here to do, is pull pieces of ourselves back together. And that's what I want to help people with and am helping them with. So that is when intuitive massage came to being, because all of a sudden it came together. And yes, I'm massaging the person, but I was like, oh, you have a pain here. This means this and this means this. And I'm pulling in chakras and meridians and like all kinds of things, and doing energy work, and it just keeps evolving. And what's interesting is when you're working with people, and I thought of this because the last person I worked with over the weekend, she was like, I can feel that. I can feel that. So it's really cool as you start to realize that you too can feel what's going on, and then you can put the connection together. And that's what I want to help people with.
And a lot of times people just think massage is somebody rubbing on you nicely, and
Mm-hmm.
it almost never is. I
It
remember
it
the
never is.
first time I had a massage, it actually felt like I had done a whole bunch of illegal drugs. I was just like in another place. It
Mm-hmm.
was a euphoric experience, and it lasted for a long time.
And I'm glad you said that, because people have said to me, how long does it last? Everybody's different. It depends what's right there in your system ready to let go. So I've had people say, I had a session with Charlene and the pain didn't come back for a year. Well, I explained to them the pain didn't come back. It was the next layer that came up, but good for you. It took a year for that to come up. Whereas other people, they might go, 3, 4 days, a week, whatever the case might be, because they have so much in their system that's right there on the surface that wants to let go. So it's, that's why I'll never say to somebody, oh, you should come every week or you should come you need to go by what's going on in your body. You need to do at least once a month. Just for self-care, like maintenance, making sure that everything that's stuck in your body not just, the biological and anatomical, repositioning of things. And we don't claim to be, chiropractors and readjusting, but when you help somebody to release the tension and the pains in their body, doesn't it make sense that things just realign? So, yeah. And then you compound it with the work I do, which is making them aware of you're releasing the stress and the tension. Stress and tension is a result of emotions. And also a muscle. And what I like to do with people is it's interactive. So I'll ask you questions that might seem a little stupid, but it's really to make you have the I'm asking you because I already know, right? I already have the I want you to know. So an example, I'll say things like, okay, so a muscle, what does a muscle do? It resists, right? I won't drag it out because I don't want you to have to hang out there and be like, oh, where's she going with this? Because sometimes some questions are more obvious than others. But muscles, they have to have some resistance. Otherwise, our bones would just be flapping around, right? It has to have some resistance to attach to the other bones so that it allows you to flex and move. But if we're in pain, does the body not like resist? Right? So it resists moving forward. Well, take that for an example. If somebody has hip pain and they're like, oh, geez, I have really bad hip pain. And then we start talking about it. Is it the psoas muscle, which is in alignment with your third chakra that attaches to your iliac spine and then comes across and attaches to those, the ASIS, which are that big knob of a bone in the front. If it's resisting, it's preventing you from moving forward, which means it's preventing you from being yourself. So it's not just the muscle that's resisting. Subconsciously, something's going on in you where there could be fear coming up, preventing you from moving forward. And we're attached to those emotions because it could be ours, or it could be something we inherited through our DNA. And regardless if it's us or, our ancestors, because it's in the bloodline, it's there because, believe it or not, it wants to protect us. Think about this. You had a situation and you got hurt, either physically or emotionally, you got somehow wounded, right? Not only your mind, but your cellular memory remembers, true? So what happens is your body goes, never again, right? You get hurt in the area of love. And your heart goes, never again, never again, never again, right? So, or not your heart, but your subconscious to protect you. So it could be shutting down the heart. You could be holding it in another area. So it's just fascinating when you can tie it all together, and looking at where they have the physical pains in the body tells a story.
Okay, so are you willing to do a little on the spot work?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
I've been struggling with back pain, and it's like right in the middle of my back, behind my heart chakra, and my shoulder blades. And I've been blaming it on my chair, but it's like every day I come in here and I sit down and my back is killing me. Well, I shouldn't say that because then it really will be killing me. But
no, you're just aware, you're aware of the pain. And that's okay, because what I say to people is, I want you to have the emotion, right? So many times we hear, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it because you're putting that out there. I'll even say that sometimes. However, a thought is still a vibration. So even though I don't say I'm in pain, do you sit down and go, oh, your mind's going, oh, I'm in pain. You might not have said it, but the thought's there. So the thought is a vibration. It still puts it out there. So I want people to have the emotion, because when you have the emotion, something is in alignment. The emotion and the pain is in alignment. And now I can help you to connect with that, and you move it out of the body. People have said that intuitive massage with Charlene is like massage with therapy. And I've had psychotherapists say to me, wow, some of the stuff you say or ask is what we tell our clients. And I say, well, what do you do? And they say psychotherapy. And my usual response is, wow, just imagine how much more powerful it would be if you're massaging. Because when we have a conscious awareness, Does it just leave the body? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. You might need something to help direct it out of the body. And that's how this works. And if somebody is not local, because I have you asked about individual versus group sessions, kind of just leads into that, is I have done group sessions because not everybody is local. I've met people in Hawaii and they'll reach out and they'll be asking me, Charlene, this is going on and that's going on. So you just guide them through the process, and then I will give them some techniques that they can do to try to clear their energetic system. And then they can always go and get a massage in their area while focusing on just continuing to release what doesn't serve me. So it's fascinating work, but let's go to you, okay? So, and all of a sudden, hold on one second, because things come to me that I never know, like the colors. You're wearing purple, you're wearing blue, tattoos talk to me, nail polish talks to me, like, because it all means something, right? The color of the polish, the tattoo means something. And people will be amazed by it. And I'm like, and it's also no coincidence you put it on the right side of the body versus the left side of the body and where it is. Okay. So let me go to your question. So when we look at the pain that's on the back is, first of all, the past, right? We carry everything on the shoulders, on the back, we're like lugging it around. So when you say the mid part of the back, like behind the heart chakra, that actually, I was going to say, what I find is a lot of people have stuff going on with the heart chakra. So no coincidence this is coming up. So the reason for that is because we come from a bloodline. Have you, your ancestors, other people you know, stories you've heard, have they not learned to shut their hearts down to themselves, right? In order for safety, security, finance, love, acceptance. I had one client during the session, she said, oh my goodness, that's my grandmother, and it was rejection came up. So she didn't want to be rejected. So she shut her heart down. So guess what? You don't want to be rejected by somebody, which means you're rejecting yourself, right? So we're shut, and I'm consciously aware of, I keep saying the word right. I don't know why, but it just happens. So I apologize, but it goes on all the time. So again, we're shutting our hearts down for whatever reason. And you might even know the reason that either you or in your bloodline, they've done it. And so that's why it's behind the heart. Are you, in the work that you're doing, and maybe when you're sitting down, your subconscious is going, oh no, Jill's at it again. She's doing these podcasts and she's going to learn and she's going to heal, evolve, and transform stuff from the past. And we want to keep her safe and keep ourselves safe. So we're going to show the pain there so she doesn't keep doing this work. And sometimes people will give up. Does it make sense?
It makes total sense.
Yeah, they'll give up because the pain's so I don't know, so intense that they can't move forward. So they have to stop what they're doing. So if we can do, and we always hear baby steps. Someone I know used the word turtle steps, which I think is brilliant because it's even smaller, right? Like little, like,
and they're so
steps.
slow.
Yeah, they're so slow. So we just need to give ourselves that grace because we're so human that we want everything done yesterday, and then we get in a state of depression or sadness or whatever. I call it the quicksand. And I have moments, I'll be honest, earlier today, something hit me and I was like, and I don't even know why, but what I did was, we don't always know what we're thinking, but we know what we're feeling. So we have to become conscious of how we feel. And I just automatically did this. Oh no, I'm not going there. You're not sucking me in the quicksand, right? So you have to talk to yourself, redirect it. If you start going with the dialogue of the pain and my heart hurts because this person did this to me and this did, right? And we start telling the story. The stories are great if we use them as power to move us forward. But if we use them to anchor us in, right? Because again, there's that emotion, that there's the attachment to the emotion that anchors us here so we can't move forward. So that's why when you feel it, oh no, I don't care what's going on here. I'm opening my heart. I'm expanding to myself. Because so many times people will say, well, Charlene, I do love others. And I said, that's a given. Most of us are taught to love everybody, but even to the expense of yourself. How many times were you told, go give so-and-so a hug or a kiss when you were little, right? And you're like, I don't want to do that, but you just did it because you were little and you conformed. No, why should we have to keep shutting our hearts down to ourselves? So now's the time to learn how to open that. So for you, I believe that's what's going on, the work you're doing, it's opening, and try it. Next time you feel the pain, even check in now, right? If the pain's there, just talk to it. Oh, I don't think so. I'm continuing on the journey, not now, not today, go away. Okay. And then the shoulder blades. So even the shoulder blades, right? If you're in pain, that muscle we talked about. So is it pulling it like this, right? Because you're in pain. So you're going to try to release what the pain is, which means you're actually curling in to block the heart instead of expanding it and squeezing those and breathe into it. If you have to, get like a stick that has a ball or whatever on it,
Mm-hmm.
and just like tap on the back, use
Mm-hmm.
that to keep pounding on it, because what you're doing too is so if this was your back, because I'm like, I can't really do this on myself, and you can't do it, right? But if this was the back side of your body, is the pain, the shoulder blades, is it in the middle? Is it out here? Is it closer inward? Where would you say it is? Is it the whole shoulder blade?
It's on my left side and it conforms to my shoulder blade.
Okay. Okay. I have to write notes down because things come through when I don't want to forget anything, because it's all important. The left side's the female side of the body. So the female side could be a physical female, such as yourself. It could be your inner female. Is it the pulling together what we already talked about? That the female has learned to shut her heart down to receiving, because the female side's about receiving. The male side's about giving. And I'm laughing because I remember when I heard this in yoga years ago, I went, are you saying men give and women take? And then I go, no, Charlene, it's energy, because women can hold a lot of male energy, even though they're female, right? So explore that. Is there something that's trying to hold you back? And if the shoulder is, think about it. I don't know why I'm doing this, but if it's like all around that shoulder joint, it's like it's pulling it back rather than out and open to receive. But again, what does that mean to you? It's the female. And if it's going all around the shoulder, again, technically, it could be trying to hold it back from expanding that reach of receiving. And a lot of times when I'm massaging people, not only in their shoulder joints, but even in their hip joints, it's almost like I feel it going all the way around, like barbed wire or something that's trying to hold you in place. And to some people, it could be barbed wire. To other, it could be like thistle. You're out there in the woods and it gets all around you and tries to hold you back. So whatever it is to you. But the reason I asked is if it's around the whole shoulder blade, then it's taken into consideration all the energetic lines, meaning ether, air, fire, water, earth. So what does that mean? Ether is about creating space. And people say space from what? It all depends where the pain is. So the space is creating space from that incorrect perception of shutting your heart down, right? Also close to the spine, which is where ether would be, is also the bladder meridian, which is about fear. So I would guide people through the process of giving yourself, and you can even do this, take a deep breath in, hold it, and when you exhale out your mouth. So deep breath in, hold it, and give yourself permission to create space, releasing the fear and opening the heart to yourself, and then exhale out the mouth. And even notice, and I know we're on a show, so you were soft with, and I'm like, because I want to get it out of the body. You want to expel it out of the body. And as I told you to do that automatically, I put an energetic shield up because I'm like, we're facing each other and I'm having you release your stuff. I don't want it blowing at me. No offense, but
Yeah, good.
so I was consciously aware of that. But, and I don't know if as you do this, you start to feel more space. So I would guide them through the process of you're giving yourself permission to create space from the fear of opening your heart to yourself, which is going to open you up to the next line, which is creativity and expansion, right? And expansion for what? The next line, fire element, which is about joy. But a lot of times before we can get to joy, now we need to come out to the earth line, which is about not only grounding, but it's also about letting go of those beliefs that don't serve us. And the next line, which is the water element, which is emotions that don't serve us. So I might start from close to the spine, creating space from the fear of opening the heart to yourself, releasing those beliefs that no longer serve you, as well as giving yourself permission to let go of those emotions that don't serve you, which allow you to open up to joy and receptivity. I'm getting the chills in the top of my spot and the top of my thighs, and thighs are about grief. Also, that's validation, right? That's something shifting. But when I'm getting it in the thighs, and I mentioned thighs are about grief, it's also part of first chakra. So is that confirmation that maybe what you're feeling there is subconscious DNA, not necessarily yours, and there's so much grief that they're afraid to let go, let you let go. Does that make sense? What's going on now?
So my father-in-law, who lived with us for like, I don't know, 18 years and near to us for like 22 years, um, passed away in December in this room.
Oh, okay.
And I think the pain actually started maybe back in November, the early part of November. He was okay and he was living on his own at that time, but my husband was going up there often to help him.
Mhm.
And the reason that he didn't live with us for the last 4 years is because he was driving me crazy. But he
How was he
my
driving you
husband
crazy?
just got his own stuff, and I was done dealing with stuff, other people's
Okay.
stuff. So and my husband was gone all the time. He was a truck driver, and he it was time for him to live somewhere else, not with me. Um, and I think he felt it too. And we made up along the way. So when he died, it was good. He had a good death.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'm wondering if maybe that's not, because it's feeling looser actually as we're talking about this.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Exactly. And that's why intuitive massage, some things will come through that, like, how will I know, right? Like the tattoos and stuff, or I can't even tell you stuff that comes through. But I like to explain this because everybody has their own perception. I've had friends say, Charlene, it's intuitive massage. You're supposed to be telling me everything. Go, thank you for sharing that, because that's your perception. Whereas that means you give your power away to other people. I don't want you to do that. I want to be able to help guide you through the process. You have the intuitive hit, and then you make the release. Because I can't force stuff out of your body. Just like people will say, we were talking about this earlier, they get on the table and they go, all right, make the pain go away, right? They just think they're going to get there and drop on the table, and you're either going to do a light massage and make them feel really good, or you're going to do a deep tissue massage and like rip it out of their body, right? And the problem is what I just said to you. I cannot force something out of your body. So I will guide people through. And if you don't want to do the work with me, you don't have to, but I'm still going to say, all right, let's do some breathing, and you don't have to do any of the connection. But if you have a pain right here and I'm like working it and it's not moving, it's because it doesn't want to go. So if you think somebody else is supposed to get rid of it, you're sadly mistaken, and you're going to get off the table and you're going to be really disappointed with that massage, but it has nothing to do with them. And that brings up projection. So you're, disappointed in them, which is really, are you disappointed in you? You didn't do the work. I'm saying, Jill, you do this. I'm putting it on you instead of taking my own responsibility. Nobody lives in here except me, right? So we can have people, you go to the doctor for them to give you some guidance, right? And I know a lot of times people have been programmed to say they're fixing me. No, they're not fixing you. Nobody's fixing you. The only one who can fix you is you, and that's because you're assuming something's wrong with you. And nothing's wrong with you. You're just trying to call all the parts of yourself back. So I tell people, pay attention to your words, because when you say, oh, I was disappointed in that massage, that's meaning I'm putting it out here instead of, wow, if I'm disappointed out here, I need to turn it around and say, what am I really disappointed in here? Was it because I didn't listen to how that person was trying to help me so they could move it out of the body? Okay. Just like you were talking about your father-in-law and you did feel the space. The things come up in the session, like you'd be amazed. And it's because that needs to come up to move out of the body. I've had people, I'm working on their neck, and all of a sudden, I hope I don't offend anybody, they're like, do you remember, have I ever told you about this sexual experience? And I'm like, no. Like, I'm not going to judge, because that needs to come up. Well, the reason it needed to come up is the person has sleep apnea. When they're on the table, they're constantly doing this, like putting their head back because they can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that connected to the trauma of that event? And the answer is yes. So that needed to come up. So I'm not going to judge somebody for bringing that up. Now, with that being said, my massages are 100% professional. If anybody thinks otherwise, they're going to be in for some serious trouble. I try to joke about it. I tell people, it's best if you're getting a massage, it's best if you don't have underwear on, because they can do a better glute massage. And doing a better glute massage releases the upper torso and the lower torso. But some people get freaked out, and I say, listen, I'm going to tell you this, hopefully to make you laugh, but I mean it. You're covered the whole time, except when I need to address parts of the body. I said, you don't want to show me anything, and I don't want to see anything. So we're on the same page, right? So hopefully I'm sharing this. Who knows, you might want to cut it out, but I want people to know it's professional. I'm here because I want to help. Like any of that other stuff. And I don't think I'm going to attract that, because that's not in my energy field, but still I like to make it known. Going back to
such a stigma about it for so many years. It's just like, no, that's not what this is about. It's something totally different.
Exactly. And if that's what you're looking for, I'm sure there are people out there, but you picked the wrong person to call. Like, yeah, that's just not in my energy field. If people come to my house, I'll say to them, if I don't know them beforehand, I said, listen, the table's right in front of I have a slider. I said, and I have a central station alarm. So if anything inappropriate attempts to go on, I'm going to pop the door and you can get your naked ass out into the woods and the cops will find you, because that's just not going on. It's professional. I want to help people. So, and I also like to make people laugh. So hopefully they'll get a chuckle, but I mean, so now coming back to you, when you were talking about the time, that it was time for him to live somewhere else, not with me. And I didn't take that, but those words. It had nothing to do with him. Was he symbolic, the projection of that inner male, right? Or there you go, I can see it in your face. You just had an awareness, right? And I'm getting the chills too. Was there a connection of it was time for him to go live somewhere else, not be with me? And you also said it was a good death. So whatever, not just him, but did that, I want stuff to be ebb and flow, right? A male and female should be ebb and flow. But because of our past, it's not. Like a lot of times it's out of alignment. It's either the male pushing at the female or vice versa. And I'm talking internally, right? So isn't it interesting that he was there to help you heal and you helped him, but he helped you to heal to the point that now it was time not only for him to go somewhere else, but you were talking to your inner critic, your inner voice, and it was a nice, peaceful death. True?
Yeah.
Mhm. So it's fascinating when you look at all of this and you say, wow, I would never think to go in that direction. I never go in really expecting to bring things up because I don't know what's going to come up. And based on words that you say, how would I know to say that ahead of time? I didn't know. I didn't know what you were.
You didn't even know that I was going to ask you about this.
No.
And I do have to tell you, I was feeling a distinct amount of pain in my back, and it has dissipated. I can feel it moving away.
Mhm.
And you haven't even touched me.
No. And that's why group
Interesting.
sessions work. If people don't want massage, I also offer what's called Ask Charlene. So we can do half-hour and hour sessions where it's just what you and I are doing here.
Mhm.
So it helps them to have that awareness so they can release. I told you beforehand, or I said it here, I don't remember if it was recorded or wasn't, but I have people in Hawaii that will reach out to me. I have people that they were in Martha's Vineyard and now they've moved to Arizona. And, we would be talking. And then before we went to maybe a next piece I was going to do, she said to me, Charlene, I don't feel that you need to do it. I feel that. And I said, I too feel like a big pot left, but I'm feeling like, and we did do the next piece. And then it just brought it to a different level. So, and because you and I are not obviously in the same space where I can massage you and move it out of the body, what I would suggest that you do is make sure you drink water, right, to be flushing it out. Also, Epsom salt baths, because Epsom salt baths not only help with the physical body, it helps to clear the energetic. So your aura, anything that moved out and might be like in your aura, that will help to clear it. And people said, well, I don't have a tub, or my tub's broken, right? So what I do is I have this Dead Sea salt scrub. It's just like body wash. And my body just feels like it's radiating afterwards. Some people have said, oh, well, I soak my feet in Epsom salt. I go, okay, but that's just your feet. Why don't you, if you want to, stand in your tub or your shower in the Epsom salt, but use that, right? Or make a separate thing of the scrub and use that to wash your whole body. Because if you're standing in it, you probably don't want. Well, what's the difference? If you're bathing in it, you're, still laying in it. So you could just scoop it from that basin or whatever and wash yourself with it. So be creative with, the use of it, and then, be aware of, wow, how am I feeling? And tell your body how you feel. So many times after I'm massaging people, I'll check in on a regular basis and I'll say, how you feeling? I get this. Feel good. I'm like, really? Did you see my body? Like, watch me, Joe. I feel good.
Yeah.
How exciting is that? I go,
Yeah.
no, you need to tell your body, I feel fabulous. I feel amazing. Because if you tell your body, I feel good, that's all it's going to give you is I feel good. I, I
And she
want
keeps slumping down and closing up.
exactly
Listening to
like you
this.
want to be expansive, you know? So declare it how awesome you feel, because I want, by you doing that, it's also a way of like gratitude. So it's energy, vibration, and you can feel it, right? Anybody
Yeah.
listening to this, like do it. Just go, feel good, and feel how contracted you are. Then go, I feel amazing. I feel awesome. And do it a few times, like even with the hands. And like you can feel your energy just go boom, boom. It's just like radiating. And you might think you're crazy, and that's okay. I really don't care if people think I am, because I know I'm not. But the more you do this, you can actually feel it. You know, people say, rub your hands together. I'm sure you've seen this, right? A million times. Rub your hands together and like just separate them. Sometimes people can only go this far. I remember doing this. I was at one of my clients' events and she had everybody do it. My arms were like back here, but I also work on her and I'm like, I literally can feel it all the way back here, right? Because the more you do it, you can sense it. All right. Also, I don't know why I want to protection. If I forget this, remind me of it. Actually, I think, all right, that's going to be number 2. Number 1, I want to go to your colors, if that's okay, because it keeps calling to me. So, as I said, and let me ask you, do you have any tattoos?
I do.
All right. Can I ask about your tattoo? Where is
Yes.
it?
It's
And what
on
is
my
the,
left ankle, and it's two, one's a complete line, and then the next one's a dotted line, and it has a little thing that drops down, and it's a quarter moon.
all right, so it's almost
Like a
like a
charm.
chain. It's almost like a
Yes,
chain.
it's like an anklet, like
Okay.
2 anklets on my around my ankle that cross, that have a charm that's a moon.
Okay. So isn't it interesting that the thought came to me to ask you about that? So also, what did you say? What side was it on? I
The
heard you.
left
You didn't tell
side.
me. Okay. I heard you say the left. I wrote it down, but I wanted you to be aware, because when you mentioned the pain in your back, where is that? Or where was it?
On my left
Left
side.
side. Okay. So just being aware. And when people have pain on one side of the body, that also is a sign of the gallbladder meridian. It's not saying anything's wrong with your gallbladder. I've studied meridians. I'm not an acupuncturist, but I've studied meridian massage. So I learned a lot about that, and I blend that in. And isn't it interesting? You're kind of like, oops,
I lost my gallbladder. Actually, I had it removed
okay. So
right around the time that my father-in-law left. And I do blame him for the fact that my gallbladder attacked me.
now, a couple of things. So see what I'm talking about? Like, I don't know why I'm going to catch this and how it leads into something else. So we have a number of things to talk about: color, the tattoo, wiping your nose, blaming him, and yeah, okay. And then we'll go back to protection, how to protect self. Okay. So let's just do the color. Okay. So you're wearing purple and you're wearing blue. Okay. Well, we know, well, I shouldn't assume, because I don't know how many people are going to be viewing this, but if somebody doesn't know, purple is your intuition, right? It's your third eye. So is that a sign of, you know, that it's all about connecting with your intuition? And there's something with the fact that it's like a eggplant. It's like duh, and there's something with that word too. Eggplant, deep. So eggplant, something's rooted, because I'm like, okay, eggplants come from a vine, right? It grows on a vine, and there's a root to it. and I'm getting, it's a deep purple. So all of this is tied together, and you're wearing it as a shirt. So that means it's covering the shoulders, which are the heart chakra, right? Around the neck. So speaking the truth are you unconsciously aware of your subconscious is saying, yes, you need to keep doing this work to do the deep dive into your emotions, because the blue is over it, and blue has to do with the water element, which is about the bladder and the kidneys, which are about the emotion of fear. So notice how you got the jacket, if you will. And
They're
I know
overalls.
it's like overalls, but it's almost like what I'm getting is like a straight jacket, right? It's not a straight jacket, but have those emotions been a straight jacket to prevent you to get to what's underneath, which is your intuition, which is going to guide you. And it's a shirt. So again, it's covering the whole torso, which is connecting with all of the chakras, because it's up here, the throat, the heart chakra, the third chakra, emotions, and it even comes down and might be covering part of the first chakra, right? Because the shirt could be long. So isn't it interesting when we look at the colors that we choose, right? And you're like, Charlene, you got black and white. Yep, because nothing's black and nothing's white. It's the ebb and the flow. And that just came to me as like, I have no idea why I chose this today, right? Is it also seeing it into the darkness to bring you into the light, right? You have to go deeper into those emotions to set yourself free. And that's what you're doing with your podcasts. And that's why you've been having the pain, as we've been talking about, right? And when you can keep doing the work and talking to that pain, oh no, not today. I'm going deeper into this. You set yourself packing like your father-in-law. Set yourself packing, right? So you're declaring what's you're claiming your space, you're claiming you. And as a result of you doing that, you're letting go of those emotions that no longer serve. And when this is all gone, that straight jacket, and I hope you're not taking offense to that, because that's what's coming to me, but I don't mean it that way. It's like, it's because it's the strap, right? The strap and like harnessing you in, holding all of that there so you don't get to the emotions. But now that you know, just keep doing it. Keep doing your work, whatever you're guided to do, then you're going to find what you can release in emotions, and then use your intuition so that you can be on your path as to what you need to do. And then when we're in that space, like everything just flows. We're not stuck in the quicksand. We're not stuck in, oh my God, I hear everybody talking about stuff that's going on in the world, and I don't want to dismiss it, but I don't want to get stuck in it either. So I don't pay attention to it. And I say to them, as I said earlier, have your emotion. What's going on? Why do you feel the way you do? Great. Now, let's not stay stuck there. What do we need to do to evolve out of that? Because I can't change the situation. I can't change them. I can't change the corruption. I can't change whatever, right? I can change me. And the more I change me and I elevate out of the quicksand, right, those emotions, then I come out of the quicksand and other people are going to be coming with you, right? The work you're doing, people are listening to you. You're helping them to elevate out of the quicksand. Hopefully when they see, this podcast, that's going to help to bring them out of the quicksand, and just keep doing the work and doing the work and doing the work. So that's about the colors. Then let's see, the tattoo. The tattoo, you said again, on the left side of the body, which we already know is the female. So is it a female? Is it you? Is it a male who had a lot of female qualities? And that's, you just don't know. What does a female mean to you? Is it about being loving and compassionate and caring? But not to all of you, to me, to myself, right? Because a lot of times and it's interesting, I'll talk about the ruler too, if you'd like.
Okay. I got this when I was 62.
You were
I'm 63
62
now.
when you got it. Okay.
Yeah. And it is a crescent moon, and I was born on a crescent moon,
Hmm.
a waning moon. And it is me. It's me
All
in
right.
rebellion to some extent.
Well,
Um, and an
and
expression of I'm allowed to be who I want to be.
amen. Amen. That's what it is. So the reason I think I got triggered by rebellion, there's like a negative attachment to that word. You're not being a rebel. You're claiming, you're declaring who
Mhm.
you are. Be positive about it, right? That's what you're doing, Jill. You're not being a rebel unless you were never a rebel and you feel like you have to be a rebel. I don't know.
I
Maybe a little of
tried
both.
for a long time to not be a rebel, but it
Okay.
is who I am. I am the kind of person that just stands up and lays it all out there. And I've reached a point where it's just like, it's okay. I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm good with that.
Yeah, I completely agree. But just explore. And I'm not here to tell you what it is.
Yeah.
If you are a
It's
rebel,
fascinating.
is it, or is it you finally not feeling like that fight or flight? The rebel's like having a fight, right? Which is again the action, that male. So could it be that you're actually declaring and claiming? So you're owning more of the female rather than that fight or flight. So maybe
I
see,
think so. Yeah.
yeah,
Peace is my word for this year.
awesome. Awesome. Um, Also, I want to mention, because I wrote this down, you said you were 62. So I don't claim to know all about astrology and all of that. However, I do know some about numerology. So 6 and 2 is 8. 8 is about abundance. So when you were 62, you were claiming, right, who you are. And in reflexology, the wrists and the ankles have to do with emotions. It's also part of the lymphatic system. And then
Mhm.
when you look at again, what are the lines? Same thing as your scap you were talking about earlier, right? The shoulder blade. It's that tattoo goes all around. So it's everything. It's creating space from all of those emotions. And the feet carry us. True?
Mhm.
And it's an extension of the first chakra. Anything from the tailbone down is first chakra. So you weren't just declaring for yourself, you were also declaring for your bloodline that there's abundance in this time moving forward, right? The steps we're going to carry. And it's not just our physical body, it's also the emotional body. So you're doing some change in what you're carrying in the lineage. Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
Pretty
This is so
cool.
fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm amazed, Charlene.
Well, thank you. And I love this because, and I've had other massage therapists say, oh my God, this is so cool. Where did you learn? And I go, I kind of created, well, not kind of, I did create it myself. And I think the reason that I said kind of is I don't want to take possession or ownership of it because it was guided to me, right? I was doing the work and then something higher said, here it is. So yes, it's my work because I'm the one pulling it forward, but it's because I did all that work in the past to now be able to go like it just, and again, it's incredible when I feel fragmented. I'm writing things down, I'm talking, and I might be over here and I might be over there because this thought leads to that, leads to this, which somehow wraps around. So I just go, you know, it might sound crazy, but just go with it. Because in the end, you'll get the message. So we get the 62, the tattoo being around the ankle. Also, it's like an anklet. What are anklets made of? This
Metal.
is like, see, this is where I know the answer, but I want the person to engage with me. So you're
Mhm.
right, they're made of metal. The metal element has to do with the lungs and the large intestine. And the reason I do this is the meridians, um, the lungs start here and they trace and they come out your thumbs, right? So the lungs, and then it wraps and it forms a pattern. So the lungs and the large intestines, both sides of the body, make up the metal element, which is about the emotion of grief. Okay. So isn't it interesting that these are the feet now, right? You got the anklet. They're carrying the grief of the past. Okay. So you put this tattoo around your left ankle, which what I'm getting is kind of symbolic of the grief they've been carrying. And also, was it a sign of you breaking that grief? Was it like more bondage to try to keep you down because they knew you were going to be on this path of doing what you're doing with the podcast, right? So you're setting all of that free. Who knows? It could mean anything. I share all of that because I want people to know it's not black and white, right? So whatever it means to you is what it is. But you said there's two of them. So what I just got, two of them, is that symbolic of the male and the female, right? A
They're
partnership.
not the same. One is solid and one is dotted. So it could be.
It could be true. Also, could it be symbolic of so many times people are looking for a relationship, right? But it's out here. You're looking for it out here when really they're not aware of it's here. You want to find that union, that relationship, that partnership with yourself. You're trying to call together your own inner male and inner female, right? So was there some symbolism in that? And even the one that's kind of dotted, is that symbolic of one is whole, it's complete, there's a circle, the other is dotted. So there's breaks in your wholeness that you're trying to call back to you, right? So just explore that. And is it the female? Because you put it on the female side. And it could be, and I'm not trying to pick on men because again, there are men that hold a lot of female energy and vice versa. So what I say is I call it the June Cleaver syndrome. I used to hate June Cleaver. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It was the symbolism. And I think it's because when I was a kid and you saw the show, it's like, I didn't know that I didn't like it because it was just fluff. It was just smoke. And I hate smoke. I tell people all the time, listen, if you need somebody to be like sugarcoating things and like stroking you, I'm not the person for you because I don't want people blowing smoke up my skirt. I'm not going to blow it up yours. I want to tell you the truth. I'm not trying to hurt you, but isn't that how we learn?
Yeah.
That's how I learn.
And having an opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
And she didn't have any opinions.
No.
She just everything was relegated to the man.
Yeah. But looking back now, and also that was symbolic of my incorrect, what I call incorrect thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, perceptions from childhood. And they were incorrect because nobody ever explained stuff. So we saw whatever was going on and we internalized that and got wounded by it. And that's how our life unfolded. But it was also symbolic of, I thought my dad was controlling my mom. And then I was mad at my mom for being so stupid to control. So I vowed never to be controlled by a man. And then I married somebody who let me do everything, which was indirectly controlling me. Right? So which leads to the ruler. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
So here's the ruler. Let me draw this. I'm going to draw this for you. Here's 12 and here's 1. Okay. This isn't going to work well because when I do it this way and I show it to you, the 1 looks like it's over here on the right side, but it's really not. So you guys know what a ruler looks like, right? Here's your ruler. Here's the 1 and here's the 12. And what I've come to realize is, where are you on the ruler? I'm over here on number 12. And because of my incorrect thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, perceptions, I believe I'm here to save and rescue everybody. And more so with relationship. So who do I attract as my husband? I met him when I was 16, right? And I told you we were together. We were married for 23 years, together for 30. So who do I attract? Somebody that's so wounded that he's number one. It's all about me, right? So then I had this awareness as I was explaining this to somebody the other day, and I said, oh my God, look at this. I'm the female, but I'm over here on the 12. And what am I attracting? The physical, biological male that's on the number one, all about him. So the male is looking for the female who holds the male qualities to do and do and do, right? And I'm doing the reverse. I'm looking for, and it's like, oh my God, when you look at that, it's like, oh my God, the awareness that went off is like, I'm holding the male energy of number 12, and the male, the biological male, is stuck here on the number one. So he's looking for the female that's strong, that can take care of him, but I'm looking for the wounded female. Is that because I got to fix my wounded female? I need to save and rescue my wounded female. Yes. Yes. Because where do we want to be on the ruler? We want to be
Middle.
right here, center. You want to be 6, right? 6 on the ruler. And notice where it brings me. Right here, my horror line, front and center. That's the fire element. That's joy. It's about being. You talked about blaming your father-in-law. I'm not out here in the fragmentation. When we're blaming, shaming, and complaining, we're too busy being out here. And there's no judgment in that. We all do it. But we're not here. It's not safe for some reason to be here. So we blame and shame and complain, right? When in reality, if we can have that awareness, wow, I'm blaming, shaming, or complaining. What is it that tell me, what were you blaming him for?
The way he raised his son.
Okay. Can you be more specific? What specifically about that bothered you?
I have a relationship not too unlike what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I've recognized it over the years. I married 2 people like that. Because I'm very masculine in a lot of the way that I control myself. And I am exploring not being that way so much. And I think that he lived with us for so long. He lived with us for like 18 years. I've been married for 28 years.
I'm sorry, 28 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
To my current husband, who I do love. I feel it's important to put that out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he is actually doing things because he's been home for 2 years. So around the same time that I got the tattoo, he came home off the road. So our whole relationship has been changing over the last couple of years, which has been really, really wonderful. But I think we're both like moving on the spectrum of the ruler. But years ago when he did live with us, and I did blame him because I felt like his son, my husband, wasn't spending any time with him. It was all on me. And he was the kind of person that was really hard to get along with. There are just some people that are like that. They try really hard, but they just have a lot of self-esteem issues themselves that they project on other people. And I was struggling with my own self-esteem issues, and I didn't need his help.
But he was a mirror of what was going on in you. See, that's why I tell people, have the emotion. So I don't want to say to people, you're angry right now, so you're going to blame that person. Few things I want to mention to you is the fact you said he lived with you for 18 years. numerology, 8 and 1 is 9. 9's about endings. So he was a gift. And when he finally left, it was ending of what no longer served you, right? And now something new was coming. And then you told me you're married for 28 years. 8, 9, 10, 10 and 1, 10 is 1 and 0, which is 1, new beginnings.
Mhm.
So isn't this fascinating that he was there until it was time for him not to be there, because energetically he helped you, even though you might not have known it, to release the pains of your past. And now your husband, new beginnings with him, because all of a sudden he's home. And
Mhm.
wow, home isn't just our house, home is here. So are you coming here? He's coming here. You're moving to 6 on the ruler, which allows for, and you also said 2 years. He's been home for 2 years off the road, right?
That was 8 new beginnings
Yeah, but also 2 years, to
or
me, 2
abundance.
was symbolic of partner, union, right? That ebb and flow. So
Mhm.
you're connecting and healing the male and the female, which now allows him to heal his, because we don't even know, it's all energy. So if you're holding more of the male energy, are you saying, right, that I want you, or how do you do this? Nope, it's receiving, so you're blocking. So you're doing this. Come on, I want relationship, but I don't, right? So
Mhm.
isn't it interesting? Because if you want the relationship, but you really want it with yourself, but you're going, no, I don't deserve it, then how is that a mirror of your relationship with your husband at the time? But now you're opening up and you're more in alignment with the 6, you're more in alignment with that ebb and flow, what allows for him energetically to heal his own stuff. And now he comes back home, not only to the physical house, but home to himself, home to you, because you have that ebb and flow, that partnership, and off the road. So again, the road, that's like travel, right? The journey.
Mhm.
And also he was a truck driver. Cars, trucks, what are they made of?
Metal.
Metal. Lungs, large intestine, grief, right?
Mhm.
So we were locked and caged in our own grief, right? Which meant he had to be locked in his own cage in grief, driving the truck, right? The truck was his own cage. Makes
Yeah.
sense? So you lightened up on your male, which allowed for that ebb and flow, which then shifted your relationship. And that's why a lot of times people don't get the, and it's not always that way. Because sometimes the person came into, because people would say, well, Charlene, look at what happened with you. No, that was a blessing that we got divorced. And like, I remember years ago, an energy person said to me when I asked some questions, and the person said, let's just say he has a long way to go to catch up with you. And it's not because I'm better, or no, it has nothing.
It's his own
I was
journey.
just doing my work, and he didn't want me to do the work because he knew at one point he was begging me not to continue doing the work because he could feel the disconnect, but he wasn't willing to do his work to heal himself. So maybe we'd still be on that level. So it's like, think of the balloon, it lets go and mine floated away and he's still stuck in the quicksand, even though he was able to heal and evolve a piece of himself through relationship with me and my family of value, because he didn't value himself. His family never treated him, again,
Mhm.
why did he end up as number 1 on the ruler and was searching for the number 12, the female, to balance what he couldn't ground in himself?
Mhm.
So it all makes sense. So we did the blame, we did the 2 years ago, we talked about projection. Let's see, we talked about the rule. I want to talk about protecting yourself. And again, you already knew this, but I want to make sure your listeners get this. When you write down, like journal, Why was that father-in-law of mine pissing me off, right? What am I blaming him for? There's no judgment in it. It's an emotion. And when you can understand what you're blaming him for,
Mhm.
it's because you're blaming yourself for it. And you can't attract or have something that you don't give to yourself, right? So
Yep.
I remember years ago after the divorce, a friend of mine was interested, and he would say, how come not me? And I didn't know why. I just, we've been friends since I was 15, but I didn't feel that way. And I did what I call a qualities activity. So you write down the qualities of each person. So I wrote down the qualities of this individual, and then the light bulb went off. And a friend of mine said, Charlene, you have all those qualities. I go, I know I do. But I give it to you and 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 to you. I don't give it to me. So if I don't give it to me and that person shows up, might be the best person in the world, but I'm rejecting those qualities in myself. So I don't think I deserve those qualities. So that's the why. And years later, I ended up saying, remember that time? And he said, yeah. And I said, had nothing to do with you, nothing to do with you. So honest to God, when something's going on, to all your viewers in your life, it really has nothing to do with you. Something's going on with them, right? And yes, you're part of it. So maybe you need to explore things, because why are you blocking? Maybe you, part of your journey was to show this person what they are worthy and deserving of. Who knows? So again, with what you were saying, and make your, reiterate so your viewers understand, when I asked you what you were blaming your father-in-law for, and you said, it was all on me. Was that really him? Or was that your programming that said, I'm number 12 and I need to take care of and save everything? So it's all on me.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I get angry
No,
that it's all on me, but who put it on me? I did. Right? So be aware of that. Let's see. Hard to get along with. Are you hard to get along with you?
yeah,
Yeah. When we think about it, yeah.
I really am.
Yeah, see? Um, let's see, they try really hard. No, they try really, I missed the rest of that. But then you talked about self-esteem issues, but then you did catch it. Not a lot of people would know that, right? They try really hard, but they have self-esteem issues. Okay. And they might, but is it because they're showing you that you have self-esteem issues? And
Uh,
you did say that.
that was an absolute for sure.
Yeah. So, and you did say it, but again, I wanted to reiterate that because I want to make sure your viewers understand. That's why, like, we can, and I have a friend that she's always like, blah, 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 around what's going on. And I'll say, okay, tell me what's going on. How are you feeling? And then I'll say, what's the opportunity? And if her boyfriend only knew, half the time when she's going down this road, he might be thinking, oh, Charlene's like ripping me apart. I'm like, is that true? Is he doing that? How is he showing you this? How is that you? Right? Like, so, but both parties have to do the work. And you doing the work caused a shift. And now all of a sudden he's back home. You called him back home. You called yourself back home. So congratulations. Good for you.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So do you
What? I was
do
going to
you
say,
want to
what else?
talk about the protection part, and then we'll talk about how people can reach out to you and have you help them the way you've helped me out? Because this has been pretty amazing.
Good, good. I'm glad. And I love when it takes a different spin.
Mhm.
Because yes, you're getting in front of different people and hopefully you're helping them. But sometimes the question might be, asked a different way, but you feel like you're still going in a different direction. So it was really great to do what we did, because people can see that, wow, this can happen if you're massaging, but it doesn't have to be a massage. It could be just like this. And again, so many different ways of doing it. I'm putting together a program because I want to offer it not only to individuals, but businesses, because what businesses don't realize is if you have somebody that can help your employees release the pains of their past, then that improves them to be the people they want to be. So then they're being, and that means they're going to be helping you get to where you want to go. It's a win-win. So I want to talk to businesses about, what are you offering for benefits? So different programs as to how many hours a month maybe I work with their employees. And again, it could be by Zoom. It doesn't have to be in person. However, but to answer the question about protection, and thank you, because we would have disconnected and I would have been like, I forgot to tell them. So I'll give you an example. I was doing a couples massage the other day, and I'm working with this client, and she said, oh, we got to talk about, because it ties in with the hump and the gobbler. Okay. So, you might be saying, what are you talking about? I have clients that they call it the hump, on the back of your neck, you have like, it just feels like a hump there, or you have.
Call it the Dowager hump.
Oh, okay. Everybody calls it something different, right? Or they call it the gobbler. I would call this the gobbler, right? But whatever it is. But I found that this could actually be connected to this, right? But through massage, you can help. So this might have to be something, but we could also connect and explore, because let's just look at this and this for a second. When you look at, and can I ask you to hold for just 1 second? I'm going to go get my tongue Rendell so I can use that to explain. Hold on.
Okay. She's off grabbing her doll. When she's talking about the turkey gobbler, it's under your neck or under your chin, but where your chin goes around and connects to your throat. And then how that's connected to the hump that some people develop in the back of between their shoulders, right at the base of their neck, where that bone is that sticks out. It's not feeling on the back of my neck for it. Hasn't this been an interesting conversation? Okay, she's back.
All right. Thank you, and sorry about that. Actually, I found my tongue Rendell. So I don't know if, and I was somewhere last night and they were asking, do you know about this? So Tommy Tan, he owns a place in Quincy called Tong Ren. And it's actually just tapping on meridians, not just. So it's another way of incorporating the meridians. So that, in case you're wondering what this is. And this isn't the device, because the device is a metal hammer and you just tap. But I came across this and we were talking about it earlier. You know how I said, get something? Look, it's just, and you can just.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So, and again, you can say those things we were talking about. So I give myself permission to create space, release the fear, release beliefs and emotions that don't serve, open up to joy, and then expel. And if you don't know, should I be breathing out the nose or out of the mouth? I tell people this: we don't yell out our nose. Okay. So if you like that, I try to come up with things that make you laugh and that you're going to remember. So with that being said, it's, if I'm angry, I yell. You open in your mouth. So if I want to expel tension that's in my body, you're going to open your mouth. So you take a deep breath in and hold it. and then and expel it from the body. Okay. If you have anxiety, and maybe we can talk about this another time, because now I'm like, oh, I'm trying to throw everything. But if you have anxiety, there's a technique I've been teaching people. But again, it's
So book a call and talk to Charlene for sure.
there you go. So deep breath in, hold it, and then you exhale out the nose. But I can teach you more about that and try and, get your energy to drop into your body when you have an anxiety. So the tongue rendell, the reason I went to get it is I wanted to show the extra skin we have going on here, and also that hump that people have. This, I need to make sure I have this with me on sessions from now on to explain to people. So the reason I say that is you had made a comment earlier about age brings on these gifts. And it's like, no, it has nothing to do with age. It's because we're evolving, how much is stored in our cellular memory? How much is coming up from the past? Right here is the grief shoe point, right, in meridians. So we hold a lot of grief right here at the top. So if we're holding tension, do you ever notice if you can't rub in between your spine, but you have someone at home, like just go like this. Wow, it's tense in there. It's tense in there. So if it's tense in there, do you think energy is not flowing? No, it's not. So hence it builds and builds and you get the hump. Well, the same thing here, like get into your neck and be like, holy smokes, look at the tension in here. So how much is stuck in here where energy is not flowing, right? So if energy isn't flowing there, then it adds to this. But now let's turn it around, because muscles insert and attach, they originate and then they insert. So the muscle here starts and then it attaches. So notice it's all part of the throat. So if energy isn't flowing all in here, is it going to contribute to this? Yes. Now you go, what does the neck have to do with anything? The neck is a joint. Joints are ether. Ether is about creating space. Space from what? Not speaking your truth. Throat chakra and grief. So it has nothing to do with our age. We're just getting to places in our development where our bodies are continuing to heal, evolve, and transform. And now we think, wow, look at all of this in the body, when really, if you could work all of these points, right? And you should see like some of the massages, and I connect with all the bones. I get in here to the teeth and yeah, everything. So it helps to get things flowing. I also explain this to people, is this is a basin, right? And this is the drain. If there's no clog in the drain, there's no water in the basin. If there's a clog in the drain, the water backs into the basin. This is our drains. This is the basin, right? So if we have clogs, it backs in, it backs in. But clogs can be many things. And to me, I love to take it to emotions, because that's what's stored on a cellular memory.
Oh, fascinating, Charlene. This has been such a powerful conversation. Not only does my back not hurt anymore, I mean, that is just like, yeah, I just can't tell you how grateful I am to you for that. But all of this other information that you've passed on has just been like, I don't even have words for it. It's just amazing and helpful, not just for me, but I think other people that have listened to this conversation are like, oh yeah, I can relate to that, and maybe I have that. And I strongly encourage anyone who's listening who maybe is thinking, God, I'd really just like to have a conversation with her about this. Go to her website. I'll put the the address in the show notes, and book a call with her. Just see see what she can do to help you, what she thinks is the best way to address the issues that you're having, and go from there. This has just been so amazing. So what's the one thing you
I
would
know.
like the audience to take away? I mean, there's just like so much.
Pay attention to how you feel, right? Don't dismiss how you feel, but don't get hung up in it. Like, what is the emotion about? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? And believe it or not, when we're angry, for example, right? Or scared, our energy's up here. So you might not be able to just think like meditation, right? You ask, why am I angry? And normally something will come to you, a thought will come to you. But you have to do the breathing and get back down into your body so that you can ask. And then that awareness can help you unfold the next layer and the next layer. So do not dismiss your emotions, have the emotion, but then check in with what's underneath the emotion. And I'm not only going to share with you later, Jill, if I haven't already, my contact information, but I have a Linktree account, and it's, I'm going to share that with you because it's like one location where they can see my treatment menu, my website, like everything. And yes,
Perfect.
book a call with me. Like, we can chat for a little bit. And I can't tell you that we're going to chat for a half an hour or an hour, but we can chat and talk about what this will look like going forward. And
Yeah.
something told me to share this, is I have something else I'm doing, which is called Host an Ask Charlene Party. So it could be in person or it could be through Zoom. So what happens, it's kind of like having a pampered chef or a home interiors or whatever home party, except you as the host attend for free, your guests pay a fee, and figure we're going to be there at least 2 to 4 hours. Look how long we were here, right? And it could be however you want it to be, but I think it's more powerful to do it in that group. So as we're all connected, I'm going to talk to, let's say, Jill, and she talks about what, is going on with her. And by sharing, everybody else, I want them to pay attention because it's all connected. It's a different flavor of what you're going through, and you can release your own pains by what's going on with other people. Bless you.
Thank you. The audience missed the sneeze.
So sorry, I just keep going and going and going, but it's
No,
like,
that's
I feel guided to do so many different things and offer it in so many ways, because the other thing is people that want to do an Ask Charlene, host an Ask Charlene party, then they earn, based on how many people are there, they can earn free massages and discounts off of other sessions. And if they're not local, they go, okay, well, then we work sessions like this. If you're not local where I can't put my hands on you, then we can be creative in doing like a session I did with Jill. And as I said, I've done work with people remotely. It's energy. You don't need to necessarily put your hands on somebody.
and I'm here to tell you, she knows her stuff. My back feels great.
Awesome.
It's like amazing. Thank you so much for joining me, Charlene.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a blast.
Me too.